Welcome everyone to our webinar today. I'm excited for you to join me. A few quick notes before we begin. Today's webinar will be recorded and we'll send you a link to the recording and a copy of the slide deck via email within about 24 hours afterwards. During the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A window and I will address them as time allows, generally at the end, but I'll try and pick them up as we go too. Any questions that we don't get to during the webinar, we'll reach out to you afterwards to make sure we get an answer for you. And lastly, your feedback really matters to us and to me, so please take a moment to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar so that we can provide the most valuable content to you all going ahead. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and jump on in. Really, today's webinar is all about highlighting what we've been working on and what we plan on going in more depth at RVDA this month and then at MRAA in December. Those of you who have attended my webinars may be familiar with who I am. My name is Allison Miller. I'm a sales engineer for IDS. I come mostly from an accounting background, got into the RV industry as a controller, moved into a GM role, and then came on over to IDS a couple years ago to help with some solutioning on the sales side. Something you might not know about me is that I'm also a mom and soccer coach to identical twin girls who are about to turn 14 next week. We just had our final season together as the Pelicans, so just a little shout out for my love of soccer. What we're going to cover today is I want to make sure that everybody knows what's up and coming from an event standpoint, what events we'll be at, what events we'll be hosting online. And then I'm going to go through a quick overview of each of the products that we're really going to be highlighting throughout this show season. Some of you have probably already seen demos on these throughout the year, detailed demos. The purpose of today is really just to highlight what's new and also some of my kind of favorite features or things that I want to make sure people are aware of, and then really to encourage conversation and encourage attendees to come meet us at the booth at RVDA in November and at MRAA in December. So upcoming events, we do have an in-depth SalesCRM Online demo. That's going to be hosted by our product manager, Cliff, on November 19th. And then we have later in the month of November, we have our next Dealership Insights Forum. These are hosted by Allison Miller. And this is a conversation with and amongst dealers. It's really meant to be a conversation. This is not a presentation. And so we welcome all dealers to join. The next topic is going to be managing OEM relationships. And then on December 3rd, leading into MRAA, we will do a marine-specific kind of preview of what we're working on for those dealers. And then finally, at the end of December, there'll be that final Dealership Insights Forum of the year, and that will be a 2024 recap of what we're seeing with repair event cycle times, and Allison Miller will be the host of that again. In person, you can look forward to seeing us here in a couple weeks at the RVDA convention in Las Vegas. And then we'll have a team at RV Care up in Canada in the end of November. And then finally, in December, we'll be in Orlando at the MRAA Dealer Week. So some of you may have already heard about Leadership Insights or seen Leadership Insights. What I want to share with you today is something new that we're adding to it. So this is an up and coming. I'm going to give you all kind of a sneak peek, and then you can come see us at the booth, or you can reach out to your account manager if you want to see it in more depth. So just as a refresher, or if you haven't seen Leadership Insights, this is our latest data visualization dashboard reporting tool. It's powered by Power BI with our full DMS data set flowing into it. And it really just gives you access to your data in a new way, very visually appealing, very easy to access. And we have a whole stack of reports for every department. But what I want to share with you all today is a sneak peek of our up and coming key insights report. So we've got pages and pages of reports for our department leaderships, and some of the feedback we've gotten is really the desire for this high level, I'm the owner or I'm the dealer principal, and I really want to see the key metrics of what do I need to zero in on without necessarily having to navigate through multiple departments' pages. And so Don Miller has created this key insights report as part of our leadership insights product. And what this does is it goes through really department by department, looks at some key metrics, provides those metrics for you with year-over-year changes, and then some really specific key points. So looking at number of retail sales, is it up or down? Is F&I up or down? As we scroll down here, we've got a parts and service and parts overview. So really the idea here is I can at a glance scroll through this page and see how I'm performing for the year and how it compares to how we've done in the past. And this is really to complement all the detailed dashboards and reports that we have available in the Leadership Insights product. And the idea behind this is that it's something that could be automatically emailed, let's say to the owner at on a weekly interval, on a daily interval, kind of depending on what the needs of the business are. So we've got sales and F&I, parts and service. We've got an expense review year over year. And we can even drill into expense categories as well. And then page 2 is going to be your asset review. So this is looking at inventory, really focusing in on, again, some of these key highlights, like how much aged inventory do you have? There's some color coding here to really draw your attention to things, right? We've got a couple of units we've got 5 units that are 2 years old. What's your oldest unit on the lot? What's your current month's supply? You can also apply filters to this just like you would your standard reports. So I can filter by things like vehicle type, or if I just want to see this for available inventory and not sold available inventory, then I can just select available and it's just going to show me those units. And I can multi-select by holding control. Same thing here with our parts inventory, so we can see some high-level data on our parts. And then lastly, receivables and payables. So we can at a glance get an idea of where the organization is sitting from a financial standpoint. So pretty excited about that. And just for those of you who may not have seen it, this is what our current Leadership Insights product looks like. It's web-based. It's really easy to navigate. We've got reports for sales, F&I, inventory, service, parts. We've got financial reporting in here. We've also built out our financial reports pages and made them even more robust. We've made the date filters much easier. It's quicker to set your date filter. And then we've broken it down even more from just looking at it from an income and expense standpoint to really drilling into gross profit, cost of sales. So you can really kind of get to the meat of your financials. So we've got a good level of detail in here. And this has been updated even since the last time I talked about Leadership Insights in a group forum like this. So definitely some new stuff we'd love to show you as it relates to Leadership Insights. Next up on the docket is SalesCRM. So SalesCRM has been rebuilt on the web. We've made it online, which makes it mobile friendly. So you can use it on your desktop PC, you can use it on a tablet or on your phone. You'll have the same user experience and access to the same data no matter where you are. Really, our driving engine behind rebuilding this was to build a CRM that salespeople would actually use, make it quick, make it streamlined, and to get to the point where we have the fastest way from lead to close. And so we do that by integrating back into the DMS. So you can really quickly start with a lead, track that lead and opportunity, and then generate a sales quote right from the CRM. And that sales quote will be waiting in G2 for the desk manager to review it and present it or give it back to the salesperson. Now, ServiceCRM is ServiceCRM has been around for a little bit, and really this is about bringing that same level of customer communication and tracking to the service side of the dealership as we historically have had on the sales side of the dealership. And another big thing about ServiceCRM is it adds a layer of accountability that hasn't existed before. So something that's a little bit new is we have now separated out ServiceCRM from parts requests. So I'm going to talk about ServiceCRM, I'm going to talk about parts requests online, I'm going to talk about eSign. They work really nicely together to really kind of achieve that paperless parts department and have full transparency into the whole process. But also can be taken on a la carte if you wanted to start with just one or the other. Obviously, there's benefits to bundling, but also, I want to make sure that everyone's aware that they're available as standalone solutions as well. So one thing that I want to highlight about the ServiceCRM, as far as some of the things that really draw me to it and that I find useful, is just having that customer view where I can see all of my communications with my customers. I've got my text thread going, I've got my email, I can see all my open tasks related to this customer. And then I can also add comments related to this customer. The text thread, the email, the comments, this is actually shared visibility between our ServiceCRM and our SalesCRM. So for our customers leveraging both, they get an added layer of visibility so they can really, so their salespeople can kind of see what's going on in the service department and vice versa. And then this activity log, to me, this really drives the accountability because it sheds light onto what's going on with this customer, when are we talking to them, how often are we talking to them. And this isn't just tracking our communication with the customer, it's also tracking anytime work order or job comments are changed, anytime work order statuses are changed, if labor is clocked into, if a part is requested, all of that is being tracked and logged against this customer and against all customers. So what you get at the end of the day, if I do a 30-day look back, for example, is I've got now a running audit trail of all my communication with my customers. Let's say I take an escalation and I need to really quickly get up to speed on what's going on with this customer. I can do a really quick search by name and see within the last 30 days, or just update my date filter if I want to go back further than that, and see everything that's been communicated with my customer, as well as all those status changes. So these are all coming from G2 work order status changes, and they're automatically updating to IDS 360 in ServiceCRM. So it's a really nice sync between the two, between the existing G2 where we're generating work orders and updating them and completing them. So our work order process stays the same, but now we're able to manage all the communication and activities in one place. Next up on the docket is Parts Requests Online. This is one of our newer solutions to release, and this is all about filling that workflow gap between a technician requesting a part and getting that request into the parts department. So we're talking about eliminating the paper parts request form, eliminating the need to email requests in. That can be really difficult to track, and instead taking and making that whole process digital and streamlined. The idea here is to keep techs in their bays, speed up parts processing times, and really identify bottlenecks. One of the challenges with a paper process is it's very difficult to quantify how long each step takes, for example, and really identify what the holdup is. So with Parts Requests Online, Parts Request generally starts with a technician requesting a part from their Service mobile app, and that's from the existing IDS Service mobile app. We also have the ability to create a part request from within ServiceCRM or from within the Parts Requests Online feed as well. So now all those parts requests are coming in, they're being aggregated here where the parts department can then process these. Something I want to point out for our multi-location dealerships that like to centralize their special order process is we've actually built in the ability to manage multiple locations parts requests. So I can manage all locations parts requests from one place. So even though I'm only logged into LRV, I can manage the parts request for all of these locations, and this location value will hold. So as I approve this part request, for example, or as I submit it for approval, part of that process is to add the part to the work order as required. So I can actually manage my incoming parts requests and get those parts added to the work orders in multiple locations, all from this single portal. And then another highlight for me of Parts Request Online is, again, that trackability, that visibility into how long are things taking. So my two favorite things here are going to be the top left corner, which is just your current status update. I can see what status all of my part requests are in right now. I can drill into these. So if I want to see how many, or if I want to see this one declined one, I can click here and it'll take me into that declined transaction. You'll also notice that we have a request return status. So that allows us to send that part request back to the technician if they didn't provide enough information. Second to that, over in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm actually going to start with time to submit. This, because we're now tracking each step of the process, we have the ability to measure it. So I can see from the time a technician submits a request to a time a parts person submits it to the sends it over to the service advisor for approval. So that's really looking at that P&A process of identifying what is this part that's needed, what's the part number. That process, we can measure that on a per parts person basis. And then we can subsequently also measure how long it's taking the service advisors to approve it. So you'll see my name pop up twice, and it's because in this workflow, I'm both a parts person and a service advisor. Same with Kurt here. But this is measuring my performance as a service advisor. How many part requests have I processed for approval, and on average, how long did it take? So I can set different date filters and start to see, maybe I want to once a month look at how my team performed over the last month. Are we getting better? Are we getting worse? So that's something that I really like about Parts Request Online, is that visibility that, again, is really all about accountability and being able to drive better results by measuring it and subsequently being able to manage it. Next up is eSign. So we've made several enhancements to eSign this year throughout the year, so I want to make sure that you guys are aware of those. eSign in and of itself isn't particularly new. It's been around for a couple years. However, we have just this year added eSign to F&I quotes, and that was based on customer feedback asking us for that, as well as to our storage and rentals module. With all of these, whether it's a work order, an estimate, quote, or storage and rental documents, when a customer signs that document, they sign it online. You know, they get either an email, they get a text link. We can even send them a text link to sign a document. That document's automatically added to the doc manager related to that particular transaction. So we're speeding up approvals, we're getting it in writing, and we're automatically storing the document. One other thing is that from the Service mobile app, you have the ability to send a signing request or have the customer sign in person. So this can really speed approvals up. If your customer is standing there, you're doing a check-in, say you're doing a service check-in, and you want them to sign off on the repairs that are going to be made, you can actually have them do that right on your mobile device. I've got a kind of screenshot of it up to the right-hand side where it'll open up that signing session and the customer can sign right there. And then again, that PDF is going to get attached to their doc manager for that related work order. One other thing about eSign that you might not be aware of, so I mentioned that we now have the ability to create a text link. So you can text an eSign request to your customer. If you're leveraging Connect, you could paste it into Connect, or you could paste it right into either of our CRM products as well to text it over to the customer. The other thing about eSign is that we've got all of these are integrated eSign documents, right? So right from within G2 or from within the Service mobile app, you can initiate these signing requests. But additionally to that, eSign has its own portal where you can actually have visibility and manage all of these signing requests that have gone out. So you can see how many have been delivered, how many have been opened, if any of them failed. So you've got great visibility through the eSign portal, and you even have the ability to create your own custom templates. So if you have documents that you want to send to your customer that aren't part of the integrated solution, you could actually leverage the templates section here within the eSign portal to send those documents as well. Now, those aren't going to get captured within IDS because they're outside of that integrated solution. However, they still will be captured here within the eSign portal, as is everything else. So, you know, in addition to these messages being stored within the doc manager in G2, they also are all stored here within the eSign portal. So you've got backup documentation, electronic archiving of these signed documents, legally binding signed documents. So as I mentioned, those three really complement each other very well because we can leverage ServiceCRM for task management related to parts requests. So that way service advisors are just managing their tasks within ServiceCRM. And then we can add the part automatically to the work order once P&A has been completed, and then use eSign to get it sent over to the customer for approval. So I really like those three in tandem, but again, you can also look at them as a standalone product. Okay, so AP automation, this is one I see many of you on the attendee list have been a part of meetings related to this before. So just a quick recap here of our AP automation solution. We have a custom integration with a third party that this is what they do. They're experts in the field in automating this process, and it's really about capturing the invoice, coding it to the GL. So there's some machine learning happening where you're training it for this type of invoice. This is how we want it coded, so that it just gets faster and more efficient the more you use it. It has the added benefit of approval routing. So if you want invoice approvals before those invoices get posted back into G2. And then we have the optional payment processing piece as well. That's currently only available for our US-based customers. And we'll be sure to let our Canadian customers know when we have the payment side available in Canada. Just a little bit of a different banking situation up there. So really, we can automate the whole process. To be clear, the payment piece is still determined what payments are made and when. It's still determined by the dealership. It's just that the processing of the payments is handled by a payment center. So really, this process is looking at, you know, the documents are uploaded securely. This can be as simple as dropping a stack of invoices that came in the mail into a scanner and emailing them in, or you can set up an auto forward. Advanced data extraction is reading all the information off of those invoices. They're routed for approval. And then once those payables, all the data is extracted and all the approvals have been received, it's automatically posting that payable back in IDS. From IDS, you have access to that payable, to a scanned copy of that payable, and then within the invoice processing website as well. You've got all of that data being stored. So again, this is creating a electronic storage solution for our payables department as well. Last but not least, is mobile parts count. So there's a couple things that I want to highlight about this one. So first of all, this is an add-on feature to the IDS Service mobile app, and I want everyone to take note of that icon that's up at the top of the page, right next to where it says mobile parts count. Some people may be on an older version of Service Mobile, and so really encourage everyone to make sure you're on the latest version so that you're getting all the latest features. It's also going to be the most stable and secure environment as well. So double check and make sure that that is the icon you have installed on your mobile devices. And then of course, you always want to make sure you're on the latest version. This was a no-cost enhancement added to the Service Mobile app, so it's available to existing Service Mobile users. So really easy to set up and use. You just have to go into your settings and update your user permissions to make sure that users have access to the parts count function, both in G2 and on mobile. And then you just initiate a parts count function in G2, just like you normally would, but then you can perform the actual count function. You can use a barcode scanner as well and do it from a mobile device. So really, this is an invitation for everyone to come see us at RVDA next month and at MRAA the following month. We're going to have a pretty big crew there, so we definitely would love to have you stop by the booth and come chat with us. We recommend that you schedule a time through your account manager, so either Kevin or Wiley, and then for non-customers through Britt or Matt. We really recommend that you schedule a time with us at the booth. It does get a little bit crazy. In addition to coming and meeting with us at the booth, IDS is also hosting 3 different learning sessions. So the first 2 are going to be done by Don Miller, related to Rect. And then that third one, I'll be hosting that. I'm pretty sure it's the last hour of the show, so I will come up with some unique special prize for anybody who makes it all the way to the end of the show and comes to my training event. But we'll talk more about this idea of elevating your fixed ops customer experience with automation. This is product agnostic, so it won't be about IDS. Specifically, it'll be just general best practices for how we can improve those things. If you aren't quite sure how to reach out to your account manager to schedule a time to come see us at our VDA, you can also just email sales@ids-astra.com. Keep in mind, we'll have Big Man Frank at the show, as well as Don, who's our data guy, Josie, our head of product, Cliff Andrews, a product manager over sales and F&I, and then we'll have the whole account team there as well, a sales and account management team. So with that, I don't see any questions in the questions box. This one was short and sweet, really just kind of want to show you guys what we've been working on, what we're excited to talk to you about at RVDA and MRAA, and really just looking forward to filling up the schedule with some one-on-one sessions. We will also be doing group demos at the booth as well. And so I will be running demos of each of these products, in-depth demos. Go ahead and reach out to your account managers, and they can give you a schedule of when those group demos are happening. So you can sign up for one-on-one time and or also sign up for a group demo at our booth. We're going to be at booth 719. All right, thanks everyone for your time. Really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you all soon.